There we go, Bethany. Let us begin. Okay, so as it says here, my name is Patrick and this is Bethany. We'll introduce ourselves a little bit more here in a second, but just wanted to go over a quick overview of the outline of our webinar tonight. So we'll touch on who Broadreach is. We'll also talk about health and safety, aka risk management. We'll talk a little bit about our awesome instructors who will be with your students this summer. We will dive into our marine biology programs, which is why you are all here. And so we'll talk about those programs and some highlights as well. We'll talk briefly on how to pick a Broadreach program. And then probably most importantly for all of you that are here, we'll go through some Q&A. As far as how to ask questions of myself and Bethany, we ask that you do so in the Q&A box here in Zoom. The chat, although great to communicate, isn't the best for asking questions, but if you are in the Q&A, that is where we'll be able to answer all that. So we will save a good amount of time for those questions and those answers. All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Patrick, and I'm originally from New Jersey. And I became a dive instructor in 2010. Soon after that, I found myself working on a marine conservation program in Mexico, helping to restore coral reefs along the Mesoamerican Barrier Reef. And from there, I had heard about this company called Broadreach that was teaching students about marine biology, scuba diving, and pretty much everything in between. So my Broadreach journey officially began in the summer of 2012, which is crazy to think that was 10 years ago. But I was working on our Bahamas marine biology program, which is now our Curacao marine biology program, as a dive instructor. I've since moved to Raleigh, North Carolina to work here at our headquarters, where I've helped coordinate our marine biology and diving programs since 2016. I've been very fortunate and am still fortunate to get out in the field and lead some of our programs once in a while. So beyond the Bahamas, I've led programs in Curacao, Fiji, Bali, the Caribbean, and the Cayman Islands as well.
Thanks, Patrick. And for those of you who don't know, my name is Bethany. I am the Marketing and Communications Coordinator here at Broadreach. I'm one of the newer members of the team, so I just joined last year in 2021. But before that, I've worked in all aspects of international education, both abroad and here in North Carolina. And let's find out a little bit about our history, the history of Broadreach.
27 years of Broadreach. We have been running unique and exciting programs all across the globe for the last 27 years. This is going to be year 28, which is great. So thank you for being here and being interested in this journey. Our mission, if you haven't read it on our website, is to create mind-blowing adventures for students to actively learn, explore, and build skills through hands-on. And I'll underscore that, hands-on discovery and interaction with the world's oceans, ecosystems, and wildlife. Based on this, we've taken tens of thousands of students abroad, and we're very proud of our history, our program design, and our philosophy. If you're lucky enough to become a member of the Broadreach family, you'll find that we have honed in on providing an exceptional student experience from the first moment you call or email through the course of the program on into college, careers, and beyond. So we love taking care of our families by including everyone in the journey. We've even embraced technology. We send frequent trip updates and photos throughout the summer so you can follow along at home with your students' experience. Let's talk about this photo that you're looking at here. This is from the very first Broadreach program, which was actually in the British Virgin Islands. So this was a sea kayaking course. And you actually see over on the right-hand side, I don't know, Bethany, if you can highlight, that's Carlton. He was our original founder, and now our new owner, Mats, who just took over this last year. That was him on the very first Broadreach program back in 1994. He looks just the same if he's watching here. So yeah, so their experience there in the British Virgin Islands was a little bit more rustic than how we run programs these days, but we try to hold on to those values that fuel all of our Broadreach programs. And as part of that program design, our values are at the forefront of every Broadreach adventure. So we delight in sparking curiosity and courage in our students, love watching them explore, learn, bounce back from failures, celebrate their successes. The locations we visit offer perfect backdrops for what we call skill mastery, some of that hands-on discovery that I mentioned, and of course, adventure as well. And we keep our groups small, Usually it's going to be 12 students, sometimes might be less or slightly more, but usually 12. And of course, our highly qualified instructors, students embrace these environments through all those learning opportunities and even college credits along the way. Speaking of our instructors, they are a diverse and fun bunch. Over 50% of them return year after year, and this is a number we are incredibly proud of. Our families love to know more about our instructors, and while it's hard to say exactly who will be the instructor on a particular program right at this moment, we're in the midst of hiring. However, it's good to know that on average they are 28 years old, which is a little higher than most summer programs out there. And if they're leading an academic component of the program, such as our marine biology programs in this case, they will have their master's degree or doctorate in that material they are teaching. So they're true experts in their subject matter. These marine biologists, zoologists, dive instructors, and teachers are passionate about what they do. And of course, they can't wait to share it with our students. They're also incredible mentors. Even years after a Broadreach program ends, we have instructors who write college reference letters, job recommendations for students who decide to pursue their passions on a full-time basis. But ultimately, instructors are there to facilitate a fun and safe experience for their students.
Yes, and speaking of safe, I'm going to talk a little bit about health and safety. So it's one of the most frequent questions that we get is whether our programs are safe. We know for parents that their student safety is their top priority, and at Broadreach, it is our top priority too. So although our programs run in the summer, we are here at Broadreach HQ working year-round, planning and preparing our programs. So this allows us to take a proactive approach, manage risks that students and instructors may face while they're on program. So for each of our trips, each of our programs, we develop extensive emergency action plans customized for each trip and every place that the students go during the trip. So not just, Costa or St. Martin or whatever, but every location, every town that they'll be going has its own component in the emergency action plan. Most incidents that we see are minor, so cuts and scrapes and things of that nature. We do occasionally have something a bit more serious, a stomach bug, a broken bone, something like that, that requires more extensive medical care. All of our instructors are prepared and well-trained on exactly how to manage those kinds of incidents. And also here at Broadreach HQ, we provide 24/7 office support to instructors and families while students are in the field. So we're available to help out should anyone need anything literally at any time during the summer. Another important part of health and safety is involving students. So we encourage and teach the students also to participate in being great risk managers. So they'll be briefed by instructors for each location where they go to. And we help teach them those important travel skills. So making sure to stay hydrated, drinking enough water, sunscreen, that sort of thing. Our instructors attend a 10-day in-person training session to learn all about Broadreach, our philosophy, and get in depth with our program coordinators about all aspects of the program that they'll be leading. So including location and program specific risk management considerations. So they're really well briefed and well prepared before getting out in the field with the kids. Please rest assured we are committed to taking exceptional care of you or your student. Safety really is our utmost priority. And knowing that the times that we live in now, one risk that a lot of us, including us, are focused on these days is COVID. So I'll just speak a little bit about our COVID protocols. So I know COVID's had a huge impact on travel and gathering and groups of people face to face. So it's just been really something that we've had to add to our list of risks that we're actively managing, starting this past summer. So in order to protect both Broadreach and the host communities we'll be visiting, we're requiring all students and staff to be fully vaccinated against COVID-19 before coming on program for this summer. So in addition to health concerns, host countries often have travel restrictions that really can change at any time. So requiring vaccinations for students and staff ensures minimal interruptions and impacts in our planned trips and itineraries. We also plan to require some kind of a COVID test prior to traveling to join us on program. So at the minimum, Broadreach will require students to take, it could be an at-home test, an antigen test of some kind. Some locations may require an additional test, so it could be an official lab antigen test or a PCR test. So we're keeping an eye on that, since that, again, can change kind of at any time, and we'll be notifying any enrolled families of what those requirements might be specifically. And any testing that might be required for traveling between locations while on program, as well as for students to return home, will be taken care of by Broadreach. So you don't have to worry about making those arrangements. As far as pre-program precautions, this is something, again, that can evolve and change kind of depending on what the COVID landscape is looking like closer to the time of arrival. In the past, we've asked students to kind of take a precautionary period before the trip. So kind of limiting large social gatherings and just generally erring on the side of caution during that period leading up to the trip to make sure that you're staying healthy and can join us and don't get sick beforehand. We often get asked as far as precautions during program if students have to wear masks. So we view each program as kind of its own unit or pod. So meaning we're taking all these precautions so that students don't need to wear masks with the others on their trip. However, if we're visiting local partners or in crowded areas like markets or something, masks may be required for those types of situations. But overall, we're experienced at managing risks, and COVID is just kind of one of the many risks that we're actively managing and minimizing. So we're looking forward to running trips successfully again, and all getting in some much needed face-to-face interaction and fun, of course.
All right, thank you, Bethany. Okay, to our students out there, our goal is that you have more fun learning than you thought would be humanly possible. We believe in the value of learning by doing. I mentioned hands-on earlier, but also being presented with authentic experiences and, of course, chasing your personal curiosity. You'll find that most days on a Broadreach program have a theme. And typically, if you have a lesson, it will be paired with an activity that applies what you've been discussing. So the coolest type of homework there could ever be. So it should feel very different from the structured classroom settings that you might be used to back home. We are constantly surrounded by opportunities to gain more understanding, to ask questions, and to explore. So on our college credit programs, and the majority of our high school programs are offered for college credit, there are a few traditional academic elements that are required for gaining that academic credit. So everyone will take a midterm, a final, participate in graded field exercises, and in turn in roughly about 5 to 8 graded journals. So our goal is that all of these items help celebrate and provide feedback and reinforce what you are learning. And so for these programs where college credit is offered, that comes from our partners, Lesley University, just as if you had taken a course on their campus in Massachusetts. Officially enrolling in Lesley University is optional, but either way, we expect all students to participate fully in the course regardless of credit choice. We recommend enrolling for credit because if you are doing the work, you might as well earn the credit. And we often find that once our students get there and start learning about marine biology, then, well, they wish they had signed up for that credit. The registration fees, should you choose to take the course for credit, are included in your Broadreach tuition. And at the conclusion of the summer, we'll share information on how to request an official transcript from Lesley University. And without further ado, we're going to jump into some specifics and some highlights of a few of our marine biology programs we are offering this summer, starting with our Costa Rica sea turtle and marine conservation program. Broadreach has run a version of our sea turtle studies course in several different countries over the years, of course, Costa Rica, but also places like Dominica, Italy, and Greece. But we're excited to be bringing it back to Costa Rica. There's so much to learn from the way Costa Rica leads the world in conservation and ecotourism, and sea turtles are the perfect vehicle to gain that understanding. So it's a beautiful lens to look at Costa Rica through. So we start on the Caribbean coast, which, while it might not be great for swimming, it is great for wildlife. We work with a research station out there in their turtle hatchery, exploring trails around the research station, checking camera traps, and learn how their efforts are improving turtle populations, as well as other at-risk species in Costa Rica. Then we head over to the opposite coast, the Pacific side, where we stay at another remote research station. This area is great, underscore great, for snorkeling, and we'll continue to talk about turtles, but shift our focus toward other marine species as well. We'll do a marine mammal survey, go tide pooling, hiking, have beach bonfires, and embrace the pura vida life. Highlight on this program for our students is that they get to take part in some Costa Rican adventures as well, like rafting and learning how to surf. Just to highlight here, we also do have an enrollment discount for this program running until this Friday, so get it while it's hot. That program you'll see there is Wild for Bio. It's now live, and that would be a $250 discount plus a really cool water bottle. So we'll also send a reminder when we send the recording of the webinar. All right, our Caribbean marine biology voyage. I often refer to our programs as adventures because while we center everything around that marine biology theme, our programs are really much more than academic courses. We also have a lot of fun. And on this particular adventure, our home is one of our catamarans, and it's a beautiful way to travel, and it makes a great floating classroom for those marine biology lessons. It also means that as soon as you learn something on the boat, chances are you can hop in the water and see it firsthand. One of the highlights on this program is getting to dissect a fish right on board your boat. Our students love this. Also, we get a chance to work with Saba Marine Park. You'll see that photo here as well. And the Saba Conservation Foundation. We help them clean and maintain their coral nurseries. And if you can't tell already, coral restoration is a big deal in the world of marine biology. So we try to infuse that into as many of our adventures as possible. Speaking of Saba, some of the best diving, in my opinion, not only in the Caribbean, but also in the world, is on the island of Saba. So the ocean around Saba is actually one large marine park. Broadreach is among a select few that get to dive right from our boat. This means we can go diving at dawn, we can go diving at night, and everything in between. So, we also, I forgot to mention, go hiking, water skiing, body surfing, snorkeling, and get a chance, of course, to learn about the history of the Caribbean firsthand. It's a really unique opportunity to get a group of like-minded students together, all pursuing that passion for marine biology in, on, above, and below the water. We do have a similar version of this program for our middle school students. It's 12 days. It's packed with tons of scuba diving, sailing, and marine biology knowledge. It just doesn't offer that college credit, but if you do have a younger student or younger sibling, there are options for them as well. All right. Fiji Shark Studies. This is a fan favorite program. Fiji itself is an incredible destination for scuba diving and studying marine biology, and our students learn so much just simply from being there. And then on top of that, you add scuba diving with and studying of sharks on a daily basis. So we get to do 26 dives. I believe, let me see here, 16 of those are going to be shark dives, which is pretty neat. And all of this takes place in one of the friendliest places on Earth, in my opinion. So it's easy to understand why this program fills up pretty quickly every year. The highlight, obviously, working with sharks. Sharks themselves can be a bit of a maligned creature in the outside world, in the media, but as our students learn, they're such a vital part of a healthy ocean ecosystem. And the dive shop that we partner with on this program and the scientists we work with teach students to respect sharks and view them in a whole new light. In fact, some great research just came out on the sharks that we do see in Fiji. It turns out that the bull sharks in Fiji are genetically different from bull sharks in other parts of the world due to their isolation there in Fiji. So that might not sound cool, but it is cool in the world of marine biology. And I'm actually happy to post that article in the chat as well. So just remind me. But we get to see all of the sharks, not just bull sharks. We get to see lemon sharks, silver tip sharks, black tip sharks, gray reef sharks, nurse sharks, and occasionally, if we're really lucky, tiger sharks. So fun fact, there are even sharks that our students and instructors have named after them. So when we are there, if we spot a new shark that hasn't been seen before, we do get the honor of naming it, which is pretty neat. And then, of course, beyond diving, beyond sharks, we get to set aside some time for adventures like kayaking on the Navua River, get to visit a local village as well, home to a lot of the dive masters and captains that we see when we're on those shark dives. This is really one of our longest running marine biology programs. And while it's a long way to get to the other side of the world, it is worth it, in my opinion. All right, Curacao, marine biology adventure. This is a very special high school opportunity in the marine biology realm. We partner with CARMABI, that's spelled C-A-R-M-A-B-I, which stands for the Caribbean Research and Management of Biodiversity. This is a marine research station in Curacao and one of the largest research centers in the Caribbean. Not only is it at our home and laboratory for the summer, but the group becomes part of the fabric and family of the research station. It's really neat to see how that evolves over the course of 3 weeks. We get to know the biologists who are performing that research on the reefs in Curacao, and also, since the station is right on the beach, it gives us easy access to go scuba diving and see the marine biology lessons come to life firsthand. So while this may not be on a boat, access is just as easy as it would be on our Caribbean marine biology voyage. Highlight here, surprise, surprise, it's coral, but we work with the Coral Restoration Foundation. This is an organization that originally got their start in the Florida Keys, but also has a location in Curacao. We're very grateful for that. Here we replant fast-growing staghorn and elkhorn coral on the reef there in Curacao. It's the course of over 3 dives. And it's been amazing to see since we first started coming here, how much the corals we planted years ago have grown and getting a chance to really make an impact on that reef. Of course, beyond diving and beyond coral, we have got other highlights like kayaking in and replanting mangroves along the coast. We learn about and make jewelry out of invasive lionfish, so students can bring home a nice souvenir. Of course, we hike to the top of Mount Christoffel for some amazing views of the island. And I'll definitely recommend this adventure to students who want a truly immersive look into the life of a marine biologist. So those are some of our highlights and our marine biology programs available for high school students this summer. And if you're considering signing up for a program, we'd love to chat with you and talk in depth about you and your students' goals for the summer. And the best way to do that is to give us a call. If you want to schedule a call, let us know. Even if it's outside of business hours, we're really flexible here at Broadreach. So just let us know what works for you and your family, and we can find a time to sit down and chat, set up a Zoom call. We want to get to know you and give you a chance to get to know us and make sure that it's going to be a good fit for your summer. We know that these summers are really important to take advantage of for our students. And we know what summer schedules can look like sometimes, so we are here to help. One of the most important things I think to know about all of these marine biology programs, or at least the vast majority of them, is that most do not require any previous experience in scuba diving, sailing, or marine biology. When it comes to our Fiji Shark Studies program, that one would require students to be dive certified, but students will walk away from any of these programs with certifications, college credit, confidence, tons of new knowledge. And as far as this point in the year goes, availability can vary, not only from program to program, but session to session. So looking at those dates, we try to keep our website as updated as possible, but it can be tough during these peak enrollment seasons like the spring. So as I said before, just give us a buzz. And even if a program says full on the website, we can give you some perspective on wait lists or talk about alternative programs.
Great. Well, now we'll have some time for Q&A. So if you have questions, you can go ahead and drop those in the Q&A box. But I will just say that thank you for joining us. I think our marine biology programs are a really great balance of education and experience with a lot of things you'd be hard pressed to find anywhere else. So we're really proud to present students with opportunities they wouldn't have maybe until much later in their academic careers. So we think this is a key decision-making time in their lives as they look forward maybe to college and careers. So this opportunity to work alongside marine biologists and researchers, as well as the incredible guidance, mentorship, and support of Broadreach instructors can really provide some valuable perspective, along with a wealth of experience in the field, and help them see what their path might be. And of course, coming home with college credits that can be transferred to most colleges and universities in the US is a big bonus as well.
All right. Well, thank y'all for being here with us. We'll open up some questions. Again, in the Q&A section of Zoom is probably the best spot to go ahead and put those. And we've got a few, so let's see here. One is, are instructions to register at Lesley University included in registration packet? So in the Broadreach portal, for those of you who may not have already enrolled in a Broadreach program, once you are part of that Broadreach family, we will have login information for you and your student to what we call the Broadreach portal. Now, in here, you are able to look at things like packing lists, how to book flights, COVID protocols, you name it. It has got all the information that students will need for the summer. One of those items will be opting out if a student chooses of Lesley credit. So there will be that option. We opt students in, and if they would like to opt out, they certainly can. But if students are staying with that credit option, then we will go ahead and on behalf of those students, send that information to Lesley University to get them a student ID and to get them registered under Lesley University's sort of umbrella there. So we'll take care of that registration, and then after students pass the course for the summer, we'll pass along information in the Broadreach portal after the trip, which will have information on how to go about receiving that transcript, communicating with Lesley University, and then we can provide step-by-step on how to go ahead and get that transcript. So we'll take care of that and help out as much as we can in that process.
There's another question about how students travel to program, whether they have to be accompanied by their parents or how that works.
Okay, so as far as student travel goes, it's an option if students would like to travel with their parents. By all means, we understand that it may have been a while for families to be out and about and traveling again. And so we will see some families go all the way down and drop off their students at their destination, or pick up their students on departure day and use that as an excuse if they'd like to go off on their own adventure. But the majority of our students, I'd say probably about 90%, will travel solo to their destination. And that is where they will meet their Broadreach instructors, and those Broadreach instructors will have their staff polos on. But as far as travel day goes in general, we will also provide vetted flight recommendations. We have a travel agency that we work with that can help assist in booking those flights, especially if a student might be traveling as an unaccompanied minor. There's some nuance and some things to think about there. Students will also have a t-shirt from Broadreach. We suggest that they wear that on travel day, so we can see them there in the airport, but also while they're traveling to their destination, if they see fellow Broadreach students, they're easy to identify one another and can make friends before they even get to where they're headed to. We'll provide minor international travel forms. We'll help provide unaccompanied minor information as well. We will be there to meet your students once they clear customs, but they'll also have travel day packets. So if they have questions or something comes up, the bottom line is that we will be here 24/7. And so you can give us a call day or night, and so can your students. If anything comes up, we can help troubleshoot on travel day.
Great. So here's one: if students are allowed to have cell phones on program. I can go ahead and answer this one. This is one we get a lot. Yes, students can bring cell phones with them. We recognize it's important, especially if they're traveling alone, that that you be able to get in touch with them and they to you, should there be any flight delays or anything along the way. However, once they get to meet with their instructors and everything, they will call home right away to let you know they made it safely. And then on that first night of program, the instructors will take the SIM cards from the student's phone. So kind of talk on program about not using our phones and kind of being present in the moment, so that students can use the phones maybe to take pictures, play music, things like that, but not to be, on social media or kind of still thinking about things that are going on back home and be distracted like that. They do get their SIM cards returned to them once a week so they can still keep in touch, give you a call home. And there's also, of course, the instructors will have a phone as well. So if there's anything, an emergency situation, you need to get in touch with them or they'll always have a phone nearby where they can get in contact with you. And of course, we have our trip updates and things to kind of just if you want to see what's going on in a more routine way, then every morning you'll get a trip update write up about what's going on in the trip with some photos.
Awesome. Well, those are great questions. Give a couple of minutes here, see if any other questions come through. Last call.
And if you think of anything else, you can always give us a call or send us an email. We're always here, happy to help answer those questions that you might think of later.
Yeah, and my email address there is in that last slide, so feel free to reach out to me directly. And if I'm not here, anybody in our office would be happy to help answer questions. And like I mentioned, we're here 24/7 throughout the summer, and we look forward to welcoming your students on a Broadreach adventure. So we'll let you all get back to your days, and we will share this webinar, so be on the lookout for that. And feel free to share it with everybody that you know, if you like. And thank you again so much. It was a pleasure, and we will talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Bye.